familiar story of that poor widow who, of course, puts those 2 copper coins, not worth much at all, into the treasury. It would be, by the casual observer, to be a very insignificant gift. But Jesus himself recognizes this gift as being worth more than all the others combined. Because, as he reminds us, she gave not out of her extra, not out of her surplus, but she gave out of her very need. She took money away from what she needed for perhaps her own food, her own medication, her own source of survival, and contributed it to the church to be of work for others, perhaps even those who might be considered to be a little better off than herself. She wanted them to have needs met. She wanted them to be able to know the kindness and the generosity that she was able to be part of. This poor widow is the backbone of our parishes. For indeed, every parish we have has known the contribution and the generosity of people like this poor widow, who have very little themselves, but recognize the blessings God has given them and then give from their own need. We seem to be at a very difficult time in our society financially, but many will tell you, when have we ever had a great time financially? We can all recognize those times when we've all suffered, when we've all had less than we would like to have. But right now we are at a very difficult time, perhaps, in the life of charity and in the life of church. We seem to have an increasing number of people in upcoming generations who are very focused on themselves and who are very focused on all that they want and all that they think they should have. These poor widows are a challenge to us. These poor widows, these, quite frankly, grandmothers who continue to give what little they have to the church, what little they have to charity, who take care of their modest needs, but who don't get caught up in amassing great wealth. They need to be a challenge to their children and their grandchildren. As a pastor, I can tell you, I have a generation of believers, a generation of followers who perhaps that Sunday offertory envelope is the very top envelope in the pile of bills and obligations. And yet then I have other generations that envelope is at the very bottom of the pile. It's if there's money left over after they pay Discover, MasterCard, Visa, after the kids get new jeans and the latest CD and the latest gadget and the latest toy, after they've been able to go out to eat a few nights this week. There's a great contrast, quite frankly, a generational divide. And yet, what makes us think that one magic moment, as that younger generation gets older, they will automatically change? They will automatically become the poor widow. It really needs to be the pattern of their lifetime. It has to be what they now know as younger people, or we're going to one day end up with a generation of older people who hear this gospel and think, what a crazy old fool she is, because they didn't learn generosity as a younger person. They didn't learn responsibility when they were younger and perhaps had a little more. Today, the gospel challenges all of us, old and young, poor and rich, everyone in the middle, to recognize how generously God has blessed us and how we are to offer back that generosity in kind to those who are less fortunate, to those who are in need. And God tells us we will not be rewarded because we gave a little extra from our excess. We will be rewarded because we gave from our need. We gave from what we needed to help others meet their needs. May we continue to look to this poor widow and her great generosity as the example of how we are to live our lives. And may we continue to live it boldly and faithfully while we are young, while we get older. May we continue to live it each and every day of our lives.